So lying down onto your roller, and we're just going to bring the arms up and over the top of the knees. So sort of like I'm reaching towards my knees, I'm just going to reach my hands up, drop my spine down, and then bring the arms back. So my scapula protracting, retracting, they're opening and closing. And we're just noticing the quality of movement. Is it clunky? Is it smooth? Is it hard to separate the spine and the shoulder blades? And do the two shoulders feel the same? Or are we noticing our daily patterns of life in this movement? And then just bring the arms down, and we're going to turn the head so keeping your head heavy, you're just going to let it roll to one side. Bring the hands down towards the hips, and the opposite hand is going to reach away as you continue to turn the head and look over that shoulder. Bring yourself back to center, and then we're going to roll the head the other way. Reach both hands, and then emphasize the opposite hand reaching down towards the foot as you continue the head rolling out away from it. And back to the first side. This time, instead of a head roll, lift it up, turn it like you're trying to bring your ear to the roller. Shoulders are reaching, hands are reaching. Now the opposite hand to the way I'm looking really stretches. And release, pick the head up, turn it all the way to the other ear, reach the fingers, and then emphasize the opposite hand to the way you look. And bring your head back to center. And then we're going to just do some overhead arms. So from this, arms facing palms to each other. And I don't want you to overthink anything here. I just want you to notice the movement. So you're just going to send the arms overhead. We let whatever happens happen. And we just take note. How does it feel when I go back? What's happening in my ribs and my spine? How tight or how loose do I feel? Do I notice any difference between my two sides? Just taking note, and then a couple of hugs opening out and in. And we'll come back and check later to see if we've made any difference with these arms. So then we're holding a hug, quite like I'm holding a giant big ball here. So my arms are actually in front of my shoulders and curling a little upward. And then I'm just going to open them a bit more, but keep my back wide like that. And then we're going to do an imaginary ball, throwing, catching, and then we're affecting forearms and wrists here. Make a fist and continue. And that feels good, so I'm just going to do one more. And then just rest your hands down, and we're going to bring the hands all the way to the pelvis. So I'm going to bring my fingertips here to touch on my pubic bone, and I'm going to imprint my lower back and then roll back to the tail. Imprint, so my bottom stays soft, and I'm trying to make that movement come from my belly to send my spine flat, and then rolling to my tail. So it's this kind of rocking into your low back and then onto your tail. Bring your hands to your rib cage, and we keep going. And now I want you to pause in the flat back. Send the spine between the fingers down into the roller. Maintain that connection as you bring your pelvis back. And it might not be as big as it was, but that's okay. It's going to be refining the setup here. Catching yourself out when this tries to lift. And then we're going to bring those, actually we're going to find the best neutral, so ribs down, tail down, bring the hands back up. And this time when we take the arms overhead, I want you to see if you can maintain that contact of the spine right here and You won't get so far possibly, but it's a different focus, encouraging more core control, more core activation, and allowing, therefore, more release through our shoulders. Keep it easy. And then we're just going to circle the arms out to the side and down to the hips, keeping your palms up. And we're going to just reach like angel wings out to the side and overhead. Just moving and bringing them back. You're allowed to leave the fingers on the floor. You're allowed to hover them off. Maybe you want to try both. Good things will happen either way. And then we're going to bring the hands back and we're going to make like a little windscreen wiper here. So my palms are going to face my feet and I'm going to see how high I can get my elbows up into the floor, touching the floor, rather than down towards my hips. So I'm trying to lift them up. Everyone will be different depending how flexible you are. And then we're just going to windscreen wiper palms to the floor and then back of the palms to the floor. Trying to keep the wrist long, so careful it doesn't become a wrist flick. And meeting with the restrictions, the resistance, wherever they are. I'll just do one more, maybe one more actually. And rest. And then we're going to come back and just see how if we reach our hands over the knees again, how does that protract, retract feel, reaching the hands forward, the shoulders up and down, and just doing a few of them. What feels different? My sense of where my spine is feels like it's greater, and my glide of my scapulars feels better. And then bringing them down, we're going to straighten one leg, roll to the side and lie back down and have another check-in, just lying on your back there. What do you feel? What's resting in the floor? How do those shoulders feel, the upper back, the ribs? Has there been any change? And even though we haven't been working on that low back pelvis, I can feel some effect through there too, which is always really interesting to notice that the fascia connects through the entire system. So sometimes the most profound effects come when we're not working directly into an area, which is always interesting.